In this video, I'm gonna continue clearing out this fallen tree in order to repair the fencing in my pasture. We're thinking about having a combination of sheep and horses in this pasture, hopefully at the same time. That would make it a lot easier to manage, and also it would be very cute. In a couple of days, my horse will be arriving. My very first horse. His name is Fernando, or Nando for short. We already have 3 horses on the farm, but those are not ours. Those belong to our neighbor that rents out one of our pastures and also 3 boxes in our stable. Okay, here you can see me starting to try to get this dead branch down. Dead wood is super hard, so it's very important to have a sharp axe when doing work on it. It's very brittle but super hard. The axe that I'm using here is the large American felling axe from Gränsfors Bruk here in Sweden. It's the larger model with the 90 centimeter handle. The handle is a bit large. I can feel the shock waves in my arms and my hands. So what I've done, and you'll get to see it in another video, is I took a rasp to it and thinned it down by maybe a centimeter overall. And I prefer it this way. I've never done that with any of my other axes, but with the very large axe, that is the American felling axe, I felt that it was needed. The axe that I'm using here is the Large Scandinavian Forest Axe, also from Gränsfors Bruk. This is the thickness of the handle that I was aiming for when I thinned down my handle on the American felling axe. Other than the 90 centimeter American felling axe, this Large Scandinavian Forest Axe, I also have a large splitting axe and a small Scandinavian Forest Axe. The handles on the small Scandinavian Forest Axe and the splitting axe unfortunately have come loose, so I'm gonna do a video of me replacing those. This is something I want to get a lot better at. I want to get this on the first try every time. I've also ordered the Gränsfors Bruk's American felling axe in 80 centimeter handle, and I've also ordered the Hunter's axe. Here you get a better view of the damage that the fallen tree has made to the pasture. This is the trunk that did the least amount of damage to the pasture, but of course I still need to remove it. I try to keep as many of the living trees, even the small ones, but obviously I have to put my own safety as priority number 1. So I'm gonna have to remove some of the living trees here in order to get all of this out safely. You might be asking yourself, why don't I do this with a chainsaw? The reason is I like to do it this way. I'm also not confident enough to use a chainsaw. I feel like the axe is an extension of me. It's the only tool I've ever felt this way with. I'm removing the bark on this cut. Not sure why, just wanted to try it out. And right there, I remembered I didn't have eye protection on. One of the most important things for me to make sure that I don't hurt myself is clearing out the area that I'm gonna stand in. I make the area as big as possible. I like to move around with the axe in my hand, even if it's just to look at what I'm doing. It's really important for me to make sure that I don't fall on anything. Okay, here I'm checking out where this big trunk of this tree is gonna fall when I chop it down. I want to make sure that it doesn't fall on any of my equipment, any of the tree trunks that I've already cut down. I want to make sure that there are no big twigs or branches that it will hit that comes flying back at me. So yeah, it's really important for me to try to visualize what I'm doing and where it's gonna end up before I start working to make sure that I don't hurt myself or anyone else. Here you can see me bringing out the large American felling axe again. I think that this job might have been better to do with the Large Scandinavian Forest Axe. This axe, especially with the unadjusted handle, is just very, very large and heavy, and working at this height is just very fatiguing with such a heavy axe. So I'm about to put in another wedge into this tree. I do that for two reasons. One, I want to control where it's landing, and two, I want to control when it's landing. So that's why I'm giving it another wedge. Again, this job is better suited for a smaller axe, and soon I will be switching axes for this wedge. Since I've already seen this trunk move a little bit while I'm chopping, I want to make sure that I'm giving it time to move between my chops. And if it wants to fall down, I don't want to be in there with my axe while it's falling. Okay, this is taking way longer than I expected. Let's speed it up. Oops. First try. Okay, here you can see me working on this branch. I'm hitting it at a weird angle, which is making me slip off the trunk. But since I'm standing on the other side, I don't worry at all about these slip-ups. Sure, it could have been safer to do it at another angle towards the branch, but since the wood is dead, it's super, super hard, so I didn't want to strain myself anymore. This is one of the most fun things to do, just going around clearing up all the smaller branches from the trunk. I would have done this with the small Scandinavian Forest Axe, but unfortunately, again, the handle is loose, so it was safer for me to use this larger one instead. Even on these smaller branches, I try to stand on the other side of the trunk than the branches that I'm trying to get rid of. If I have to remove a branch that is on the same side of the trunk that I'm standing on, I try to position myself so I have the back towards the crown, and then I hit kind of beside myself along the trunk in order to remove the branch. My next video is gonna be me thinning out my American felling axe handle. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.